What is up, all my fellow operatives? My name is Taft Taylor. You might know me as the Nemesis James Taylor, and this is the newest episode of the Nemesis Sessions. My guest today is the one and only Mr. Alexander Kelly. He is a free agent in backyard wrestling, former WEF superstar. If WEF comes back, we don't know, but we're going to get all these great answers, hopefully, or questions answered today. Mr. Kelly, welcome to the Nemesis Session. It's great to have you here. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Definitely. No problem. So I usually like to start things off pretty simple, trying to get right down to it. And so everybody knows who you are. Who is Alexander Kelly? What's your story?
Okay. So at the age of 7, I've always wanted to do wrestling. And it's funny because of how I came across wrestling. It was a December night in 2012, and I had just turned 7 like 4 months previous. So we were just scrolling through the TV looking for something to watch, and we saw something that caught our eye. It said WWE Monday Night Raw. So me and my brother clicked on the thing, we watched it, and instantly I knew that is what I was born to do, was that. And a few wrestlers that caught my eye were CM Punk, Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, John Cena, obviously, and Roman Reigns. So every single week I would tune in to Raw and SmackDown, and over time that developed into me loving wrestling. And from that point onward, I just had a passion for wrestling to the point where it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
Nice.
So, in May of 2020, this championship on the wall, the RUW World Championship, by the point I made it, the only thing I wanted was to have a championship. I didn't care if it was a replica WWE championship. I didn't care if it was a custom championship like that one. I just wanted a belt. So I customized my own belt. About 5 days later, that came in the mail.
I think we lost you a little bit.
I contacted my closest at this one for years. I had a championship, and I don't know what I should do with it. What is it?
Well, we lost you for a second, but I think you're okay now.
What is it? Okay, so
You're good.
Contacted my close friend after I got that championship, and I wanted to do something with it because I didn't just want it to collect dust. I wanted to actually do something with it. So I contacted him and I asked him, what should I do? And it was actually him that had the idea of creating a company. He wanted me to create it and make that championship the world title. So I did just that, and RUW was born.
Nice.
From there, Alexander Souls was born. He's the president and founder of Real Undisputed Wrestling, RUW. Over time, his career just developed, and in September of Nitro, and he told me he had a federation located in East Bernstadt, and they were looking for new people. So I was like, count me in. Wrestling is all I've ever wanted to do. So, yeah, get me in. Let's train. And from that point, Alexander Souls just had his backyard wrestling career. He is a 2-time RUW World Champion, a former leader of the Influence, and yeah, his career hasn't exactly gone off to the start that he wanted, but I'm hoping to continue my career because there's a lot more that I want to get done, no matter what company it's in.
And that's understandable. And that's what we're going to get into today. And so let's talk about, where. So what was it like? Let's go ahead. We'll kind of jump ahead a little bit. We'll go back. What was your first in-ring match like? What was it like to you? Were you nervous before you went out there? Was it did you feel like you were in a dream? Were you absolutely happy? Like, what was it to you? What did it mean to you to step into the ring for the first time and have a match? What was it like? What was your thought process?
Remembering my first match, like I knew what the plans were. Like I knew I was supposed to go in there and beat Destroyer. I was the last man in the gauntlet match at Airborne 2, if I'm not mistaken. So I was behind the curtain. I was anticipating because in my head I'm like, holy shit, this is actually happening. So my music hit, and I don't know if it's just me, but like there's a feeling you get when you walk out to that ring and your music is hitting, because in your head the music is blurred and the only thing you're focused on is that ring and your opponent.
Right.
So it was a feeling of excitement, nervousness, anticipation, like all at the same time, because I expected to rehearse the match before we did it, but we didn't. And I mean, the match was still good, and I appreciate Destroyer for allowing that match to be good, and I appreciate Chris Nitro for allowing both me and Destroyer to look good. The match, I'm gonna be honest, the match did not end the way I wanted it to, because what I wanted to do was I'd hit the suplex and he'd kick out at 2, and then I would lock in the sleeper hold, which was my finisher at the time.
Right.
And then win by submission. But the thing is, when I hit the suplex, he didn't kick out. He stayed down for the count of 3, and I'm just like, oh, I won? and I was just celebrating. I'm like, I didn't expect to win this way, but I won. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'll take it.
But yeah, remembering my first match, like remembering my first match, that was fun. It was really fun that day.
That's good. So that being what it was, did you feel like, okay, so now I got something going? This is just the start of things to come, right? And then you had a couple of matches later on. What was that like? Okay, you got the first match. Now, were you instantly excited for the next one, or what?
Yeah, like from that point onward, I was just like, okay, who's next? Who am I going to face? Because like at that point, I knew I had just beaten the Intercontinental Champion of WEF, and I knew that I had everyone's attention. So I knew it was only a matter of time before I faced more formidable opponents.
Right. And that's usually part of
it. So like getting new opponents was
So then let's kind of, I remember it was like that kind of with my first match. My first match was just a one-on-one match, and we were on a trampoline though. But first match in the ring, I mean, I was nervous. Butterflies always going, and it's still to this day, it's the same thing. Butterflies just go. I mean,
you do get that feeling a lot.
Yeah. I always say, if you don't get the butterflies before you go out to the ring, you really don't got a passion for this. You're just in it for whatever, for the gloat, I guess. So let's go back a little bit, and that kind of, because where your first match took place is WEF. When did you learn about WEF, and what was it like there?
Okay, so I actually have to give a shout out to an old friend of mine named Olivia. She was the one who hooked me up with Chris. Apparently, she knew him, and I learned about WEF through Chris because he told me that he had a promotion with a ring,
Mm-hmm.
and they were looking for people. So I started asking them questions like, okay, who are the top stars? Who would be a formidable opponent for me? And do you have championships? And obviously, he had championships. He told me about the formidable opponents, including himself, JT, Lumberjack, Destroyer, just a bunch of other guys. So I heard about WBF through him, and over time, WBF like WEF has a special place into my heart because that is where I gotten started. And when I go pro, because I am hoping to go pro eventually, my starting point as a wrestler.
Right. Are you still there? Can you hear me? I think we got.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Well, that you said that was your starting point. I thought you were still talking, so my bad. Okay, so yeah, you clearly want to have a career, and that's understandable and that's respectable because you got a heart for it, you got a passion for it, and all that.
I
So
really do have a passion.
where did RUW come about? When did it come about, and what does it stand for exactly to you?
Okay, so like I was saying earlier, the championship on my wall is like the main starting point for RUW because I never really thought about owning a company like ever. Like I never thought about owning a professional wrestling company. Well, it's not really professional, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So that had never crossed my mind up until I got that championship. And I want to give a proper shout out to a friend of mine, Michael, who actually helped me create RUW. Um, Me and him still going strong. Unfortunately, he has never actually had a backyard wrestling match. He lives in North Carolina, which is away from everything else around here. So he doesn't really have the same connections as I do, like connections with WEF. RUW really got created off of a passion, and that championship is what started that passion. That being
Yeah.
the world championship for RUW. And uh, for those of you who don't know, RUW stands for Real Undisputed Wrestling, and I emphasize the word real because the passion behind this is real. This is a
Yeah.
real thing. It's not something to be taken as a joke. There is real inspiration that goes behind the entire sport of backyard wrestling. So that was just my main focus on creating RUW is making an impact on backyard wrestling. Unfortunately, RUW hasn't done that yet, but I believe I have made a slight impact on backyard wrestling.
Okay.
So there's that.
So what are your goals exactly as a backyard wrestler and getting your get your feet wet and get the ball rolling? Like if you start like if you were to go into the ring tomorrow, like say you walk through the doors of another company and they welcomed you in and you just started wrestling and training. I mean, what is your goals? I mean, are you looking to be the best wrestler that everybody talks about? Are you looking for just the star power? Are you looking for what are you looking for as a superstar, a backyard wrestling superstar?
So about being the best, I know that in some people's eyes, I'm not the best, and I'm not going to be the best in some people's eyes. But my main impact in wrestling is to just make an impact, like make myself known. Whether people like me or don't like me, at least they talk about me. I just want to make an impact, whether
Right.
it's whether people, like I said, like me or hate me. Right now, people love me, but
Now
that might all change because I might have different plans than what people want me to do. Like I may go after champions that people don't want me to go after. I may talk about target people or create something that people don't want to happen. But my main goal is making an impact in wrestling.
Like when you say people love you, like do you have a fan base? I mean, what exactly is your fan base right now, and what are you wanting to bring to them? Like, are you wanting to be an entertainer, or are you wanting to be like a mega superstar? What is your ultimate plan at the end of the day? That's what I'm wanting to know. You know, are you wanting to be the one that everybody talks about? Are you wanting to have, in a way, let's just throw this question into it that I wanted to ask you. Do you have basically when you finally learn the basics and you get to where you're comfortable to be in the ring and
Okay.
you could do whatever and call matches and stuff, do you have any dream opponents?
Yeah, I've got dream opponents in a few companies. I want to talk about the company that I started in and what really
Okay.
made me. The opponents that I've gotten to face are JT,
Mm-hmm.
Jaffel, Chris. Those I'd say are my top dream opponents in WEF. But like you were saying about goals, like I do have a fan base, and the fan base really got started off of Alexander Souls in RUW. And over time, that just developed because I have moved from place to place, which means I have kind of a bigger environment because my RUW stuff has had an impact on other people because they chose to check that out.
Right.
But my main goal to my fan base is to be the best damn wrestler they have ever seen. And that is a long stretch because there's a shit ton of professional wrestlers that they have probably watched. But I mean, backyard wrestling wise, be the best wrestler they have ever seen, pretty much.
Do you do a lot of studying?
But if we're
Do
talking
you watch
about
a lot
dream
of matches?
opponents, and I do. I tend to watch old WEF content. I watch TBW very often now. I watched Anniversary 6 all the way through. Great pay per view, in my opinion. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, I do tend to watch a lot of wrestling matches, but if we're talking about dream opponents in other companies, I would love to face Ledger and Atomic Titan in TBW.
There you go. There you
I feel
go.
like they would be more my. I feel like they would be more my style, and I could adapt better with how they wrestle.
Understandable. So you want to wrestle kind of like that. You want to be fast, quick wit, all over the ring, and just do all kinds of stuff like that, right? High flyer.
Yeah,
Okay. There you
yeah, a
go.
little,
Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with
little,
that. And
little high
sometimes
flying.
sometimes those type of people work well with guys like me too. I'm a brawler, but I also got a very technical side to me as well. This past match, of course, I had an anniversary
Yeah,
was very
your
brawler.
match with Max Chaos. Okay.
Yeah, now that's a
Yeah,
good question. What was your intake on that match I had with Max Chaos? That whole match, I had maybe 6 or 7 moves I did. He kicked my ass. He had me all over that ring selling. What'd you think of that?
that that match was actually like really good. Like one of my favorites from you, and I really loved the ending. You caught him from the phenomenal forearm, hit that stunner out of nowhere. That was chef's kiss, perfect. And then you pinned him. It was over. That match was actually really good. Both of you had a really good showing in that match, and that match was something else, man. That match was unlike anything I've ever seen.
It was fast paced, and he was real nervous. I actually wanted to face him. I always wanted to face him at least once. I don't know why. I just he was one of those guys, kind of like you. Like I told you before the podcast, something about him. I wanted to work with him, and I got a chance to work with him, and I did what I could to make that kid look like $1 million, because that's the type of wrestler I am. I like to make my opponents look as good. It don't matter about winning or losing to me anymore. The story just falls where it is. My goal when I'm in the ring now is to make my opponent look like a badass and make them look great, and that's what I do.
That's
We
a
do got
good
a
wrestler.
question right here, and it's pretty simple. I can answer it, or you can. But my friend of mine named Creepy Leech, who actually was there at TBW for a minute in that match, after that match with Max Chaos, he came in. He's saying, "Okay, I'll bite. What is WEF, and where is it located?" I don't know the name of. I mean, I know WEF. I don't know what it stood for, but I know it's in Kentucky. Is that right, Kelly?
Yeah, it's in East Bernstadt, Kentucky, and WEF stands for Wrestling Entertainment Federation.
There you go. There you go,
And
Leech.
it is a
That I
backyard
know.
wrestling company located in East Bernstadt.
Right. And I know that they worked with TBW for a while. I don't know if they still plan on doing it or what the plan is from there, but that's kind of what we're discussing today. But there's some good guys. You can watch some older episodes of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. You'll see some of those guys on there. So there it is. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, as far as one of the most important things I like to train everybody whenever they get in the ring is bumps, obviously taking bumps and not being afraid to take that bump. A lot of new guys like to get in, they want to put them elbows down. I try and tell them, please don't put your elbows down. I know it might feel like it's going to hurt when you take that first few bumps, but I'd rather your breath get knocked out than you shatter your elbows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you put your elbows or your wrists down, you're risking more injury doing that.
Exactly. And Titan is one of those guys I really had to work on to make him learn how to take bumps. He's getting a lot better, and Chaos did really well. I didn't have to worry about Prophet. Prophet's got some experience like me, so that's why I think me and him we had great chemistry. And I plan on working
You
with him.
really do, though.
Do do what?
You really do have good chemistry with Jay Wild.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. He's a guy I trust in the ring. Number one, first and foremost, I implore to everybody: make sure you trust your opponent, because your opponent is supposed to be your dance partner. It's the guy you're supposed to trust your life with, and they need to trust their life with you. You know what I mean? That's the number one thing
Yeah.
when you're in any match, and that's off kayfabe. So we're kind of where WEF took a hiatus. It's kind of closed its doors, right? Has it closed its doors officially, or what's the story on that? Can you share that with us at all?
So at this moment in time, as far as I know, WEF is finished. As far as I know, from what I've heard from the owner, there are a lot of guys there that have jobs, and if we were to bring it back, they wouldn't be able to come that often. The owner, that being Chris, said that he would love to bring it back, and he would like to build up RUW if he were to bring it back. So at this point in time, I don't know if WEF is coming back, but from the looks of things, it's not. I hope that can all change in the future, and I hope I could determine that outcome, but unfortunately, I can't, and whatever happens, happens.
Any idea what happened to the ring that they had, or if it's still out there, or what's the story with that?
As far as I know, it's still up.
Okay. I wonder if they ever go out in it and train a little bit or whatnot. But hey, so with WEF being obviously the door's kind
It'd
of
be good
closed
if they
at the
did.
moment, where does that stand for you? Do you consider yourself a free agent? I mean, are you open to go to places like Tennessee or maybe somewhere up north or anything like that? Some feds that are near you that you're interested in?
Yeah. So I am a free agent, I would say. I could pretty much go to any backyard wrestling company that would accept me. And at this point, I would kill to go back to TBW. I have had so much interest in that company ever since I started watching it on a regular basis. I would kill to go back to TBW. Just if I can rekindle the relationship that I've had with a few other people, I would most definitely go back to TBW and maybe start a career there.
Now, have you seen Troy's developmental process that's actually part of TBW called PWF? It's not my PWF, it's his PWF,
Yes.
Pride Wrestling Federation. It's kind of like the NXT.
Yes, I have.
That's where a lot of new guys go.
I have seen some of that content.
So I've been on there to help with some
I have
talent.
seen PW.
I faced Jack Delta on there. I've gone to face a green guy. His name was J.R. Ford. I fought him on the first episode of season 2 or whatever. But a lot of new guys go there and to get into the doors of. I mean, it's at TBW, but it's PWF. You know what I mean? And it's to help train them and get them going, just like NXT to go to WWE. Would that be a place you'd consider? It's the same spot, same exact ring. It's just PWF instead of TBW.
Yes. Yeah. Whatever I need to build myself up again, I'm down.
Yeah. Maybe we can get something rolling. I don't know how far Lafayette is from you, but I don't know. Do you remember that drive? How long it was?
Yeah, I remember driving from London down to where TBW is. And I think that drive was like an hour and a half, maybe like 2 hours.
Okay. See, like for me, where I'm at in Alabama, it's a 3-hour drive for me. So, but hey, maybe we could get something worked out. You know, I'll talk with them or whatnot. But if that's something you're interested in, you know, maybe we can get them connected with you and talk with you. But here's the number one.
And
the number one thing is if you were to go there, and that I'd love to have you there. I'm sure they would too. They would expect you not to go in there and have a match right away. They would want you to come, get in the ring, fill it out, and see if you're willing to train for a day. You know, like just get in there, take some bumps, try some moves out, let them do moves to you. You got to develop trust, and then you try some moves. You know what I mean? Would you be willing to do all that?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. 100%.
Sweet. See, that's good. Head trainers there. I help train when I am there. I go every 2 to 3 weeks. I'm due for a time to go back now, but usually when Troy's there, the Prophet Jay Wild, he is a head trainer for PWF, so he would be there to help train, and that's one thing he tells everybody. And that's one thing that we stand for. And it's only because we want people to be safe and have fun. If you don't train, you don't wrestle. And if you watch that first episode, that match that I had with that guy, J.R. Ford, he quit. And I'm throwing this out on live TV, out here on YouTube. He quit because he didn't want to train. And because he didn't want to train, he instantly thought he was above everybody. They didn't like that mentality, so he's out. You know what I mean?
So he didn't have that passion like everybody else?
No, sir.
Damn.
He thought, like, he was there at anniversary and he watched my match with Prophet, and after the cameras cut, he come up to me and he goes, "Man, I'd love to have a match like that with you. That's awesome. That's the kind of match I want, and I think we should do it." And I was like, "You need training first, kid, before you get in the ring with me. No offense." I'm like, because I don't trust you. And he's like, "Yeah, I know.
You can't just step in the ring with anybody and expect to know what you're doing.
Exactly." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm almost 40 years old and I'm taking bumps on the ground. You see that clothesline he gave me on the side of the ring and I flipped and took that bump?" I'm like,
yeah, you did a fucking corkscrew.
Exactly. That's how hard he hit me. I was like, "You think you could take that?" You know what he told me? He's like, "Hell no, I couldn't do nothing like that." And I'm like, "And you're younger than me. Come on, let's kind of think about it. I don't think you got the passion for this like I do."
Yeah.
So, Anyways, if you're willing, I mean, I know you got the heart and I know you got the passion for it. And if you've got that, I'm pretty sure these guys would let you come in if you're willing to go there and train. Because if they see that you're willing to put in the work and you take the bumps and you take the punishment and you give it back and they say, hey, try this move with me, and you do it, dude, then they'll love to have you. They'll book you. They will book you in matches and you'll get to do what you want to do. I promise you. And that goes for anybody that's watching that's interested in doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe Prophet's watching, maybe Jordan is, I don't know. But one thing is for sure is I've tagged them and let them know. You can definitely tag anybody that's watching this. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check out Mr. Kelly. I'm going to put a link to his Instagram and a link to his RUW YouTube page. So that way you can keep up with him if you want and follow his story. Don't worry, we're not done yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go right back real quick. Obviously free agent, but you would love to go back to TBW or PWF, which is great. Do you have of all the backyard wrestling you've watched in your life so far? Do you have any type of any favorite backyard matches you've watched other than your own that stood out to you a lot that you were like, man, I want to be on that level? And go back to that original question I asked you. Who, if there's any, are some dream backyard opponents that you'd like to fight? Not WWE. I'm talking about backyard wrestling. You know, are there any dream opponents you'd like to have a match with one day in your career?
Okay, so yes, there are a few dream opponents. One of them being you.
Okay.
Some of the top backyard wrestling matches that I've been like, man, if only I was on that level, which I need the training to be on that level, is your match that you had with Anthony Steele at season finale 5. Your match that you had with Jay Wild recently on Anniversary 6. Chris Nitro versus Jackal, which happened on an episode of Strikeout. Atomic Titan versus Gage Flair that took place on Anniversary 6. And Ledger versus Daniel Cole was that was a good match. That was one of my favorites. That one's up there.
A lot of people saying they want to see me and Ledger go at it, and I'm like, we just haven't crossed paths yet. I mean, if it ever happens, we don't know. So,
yeah.
I have my battle scars.
Hey, if that ever happens, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I have my battle scars from Anniversary. I don't know if you really can see it or not. Obviously, I bled. He cut me open, old Prophet. But I don't know when I'm going back to the TBW ring yet. I guess whenever I'm healed and ready to go. So I guess, hey, never say never. I know they got episode 148 about to happen. And then there's 149, and then they're going to celebrate 150. Yep. So when episode 150 happens, that'll be a big, big episode. So stay tuned. I don't know if you watch the full episodes or if you just watch the matches or anything. Do you watch it live when it comes on, or do you just kind of watch it later?
I watch the full episodes. I watch it from beginning to end. I try to watch it when it's live, but if not, I catch it like immediately after, and I watch from beginning to end. Like I watch the whole thing. There's not a single thing I skip.
Right.
So
man, when Anniversary happened, we had like 95 people at one time watching it, and that was a big milestone for them. That was really great. But now it's got over 2,000 something views. So I mean, you think. Yeah. So if you think about that, I mean, you think about that type of, I mean, even if it don't sound like a big milestone, but in a way it is, and that after it's all been said and done, where they're at now, they got like over 2,000 something views just on that show alone. I mean, if you put in the work and you show the passion, which anybody can, if they have the heart for it, think about it. That's how many eyes are going to be on you if you're booked on the show. If you're booked on a card, think about it. you're not just entertaining whoever's there, you're entertaining that camera because you know there's eyes behind that camera watching you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
Um,
that's always in the back of my mind when I step into a ring. I'm not there to put on a show and please the people that's in charge of the company. No, I'm there to make a mark, prove myself to the people watching at home that I am someone to be taken seriously.
we got a question right here. Mr. Dave C says, "Is there any backyard in Michigan you both like?"
I haven't heard of any backyard wrestling promotions in Michigan because I don't really have that connection with those people. The companies that I wrestled for, as far as I know, they don't know of any backyard wrestling companies in Michigan. Are you asking that because you'd like to do backyard wrestling in Michigan? That's
So
what I want to know.
yeah, interesting. But I know one ROEW. There's a guy named CJ Black. There's Jason Storm. Jack Delta goes there, just to name a few. And they're a company, a backyard company that's up in Michigan, and they're pretty entertaining. I recommend going and checking them out. Hopefully, I'll get one of them here on the podcast within the next coming weeks. But I know that they're really popular for Michigan-based backyard wrestling companies, so definitely go check them out. Um, what company I run? Love to go watch. Okay, so if you'd love to go watch, I'll send you. I'll send you a. Just look up ROEW on YouTube. Wrestling. Type in ROEW wrestling, and son of a gun. ROEW row wrestling. No, we want ROEW.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, type that in and you'll see it. And you'll see a guy, one of the last matches, he's flipping off the camera and he's holding the guy by his throat. That's CJ Black and his brother Jacob Collins. But I recommend checking them out and tell them that Taft Taylor sent you or the Nemesis James Taylor sent you. And for you too, Kelly, if you want to watch them, check them out. They're very entertaining. Whenever I start doing some traveling, I might travel up there and give them a. I'd like to wrestle two of those guys. Those are some of my dream opponents right there.
ROEW? Is it?
Which one? ROE.
I
No.
see that.
Wait. This is
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
I
it.
found
There's a
it.
show a guy.
No more ducking. CJ Black versus Jacob Collins.
There it is, right there. That one. Check them out. They're really entertaining. I recommend it. So.
Okay.
So, sorry, I'm just typing up stuff right here. So obviously, you got the few dream opponents that you want. If any link would be awesome. I don't really have any right there. And here we go. We got a question for you, and that's the Painmaker, Joshua Allen, Mr. Kelly, the former Souls. Would you care to respond to Mr. Painmaker because this is an opportunity for you? You got his attention. And he's from TBW.
Right.
And you know he's associated with the Shade. So here he is, by all means.
All right. Painmaker, yeah, the former Alexander Souls. It's unfortunate Alexander Souls never really made myself known in TBW. And to be honest, I do regret the decision leaving TBW because if it wasn't for me leaving TBW, I don't think Ledger would be champion right now. The former Souls, yeah. It's a shame it had to happen like that. But I guarantee one thing: the Dark Messiah, Alexander Kelly, not Souls, Kelly, hopefully will be back in TBW, and we will see how long the Shade or the Spade and Club faction happens. We'll see how long that goes on.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here, by the way, Painmaker. No disrespect, of course.
No disrespect.
No disrespect.
Hey,
Painmaker's actually a really. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
He connects really good with Ledger. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, I know it. He's
yeah.
he's a cool cat. Let me copy this and see
He
if I
thinks
can
that's pretty.
this.
I was there with him in TV.
There we go. But yeah, ROEW. Check out the link. And yes, Leech, ROEW is a company based in Michigan. They're a backyard company. You can check them out. Tell them James Taylor sent you, and get them a couple of views, giving them a little bit of a plug. But really great guys, interesting. I know Jason Storm talked about possibly even coming down to TBW one day. He doesn't say when. He said he'd love to, because he said he'd want to wrestle me one day and some other people. So never say never. I know Delta is based out of Michigan, and he flew all the way down to Tennessee to have some matches. I'm sure you – I don't know if you watched that match unless you watched it on my channel, me versus Jack Delta, but that was on there. And then some other guys. So anyways, so Mr. Kelly, Alexander Kelly, what was the whole thing with well, actually, I got a surprise for you right now, Mr. Kelly. Do I have your attention?
Yes.
If you could talk face to face with somebody right now, would you be willing to? Because somebody wants to come on here and say hello if he's there, and that's Mr. Painmaker.
Are you? So what was that again, Kelly? What was that again?
Joshua Allen.
No disrespect. Okay. All right. I'll accept that. For once, at least this kid has got some grapes. For once, like these other marks who think that all these people throughout social media land was crying like a bunch of schoolgirls that Mr. Ledger was on top of the mountain yet again. You all people, all of you idiots thought that Daniel Cole was the one. Commissioner Ham Chops tried everybody he could. But Daniel Cole went down like everybody else. So that, all thanks to the reunion of the originators, Spade and Club. You see, people want to say, oh, Cole got screwed. He got cheated. It's all being ahead of the game. It's all being one step ahead. That's what people fail to realize. Just like the old fart that runs this shit, who got his ass whipped by the prophet finally. Thank God. I was getting sick of Stutterville. But no disrespect. No disrespect, old man. You had your moment in the sun, and now the good thing is you're back at home podcasting like you should. Like, just keep that job while you're at it, pal. You're making a good thing on this. Really good. Okay? And back to you, Alexander, a.k.a. Souls. Dark Messiah, my ass. You've not been relevant since WEF, for fuck's sake. Are you serious? We haven't heard your name in months, or maybe a year or two. Now you want to jump on the Nemesis sessions? Well, you know what? It's good to see you, kid. Maybe you had a change of heart, a new name, maybe a new attitude, a new catchphrase, or whatever you want to say. But this is not the man that you met when you was in TBW, Twerp. This is a whole different ball game, Kelly. A whole different court. I am now with one of the greatest world champions of all time, and can nobody dispute that fact. Look at everyone that we have put down in this Anarchy era list.
Well,
couldn't do it.
Painmaker, why don't you let Mr. Kelly respond to you?
All right.
Here's the thing, Mr. Painmaker. The fact that Ledger even needed you in the first place shows what kind of man he is. And the fact that he had to reunite the Spade and Club shows what kind of man he is. He can't do anything on his own. He knew he could not defeat Daniel Cole one-on-one, so he had to make a phone call to his little boys and say, hey, could you get the job done for me? So the fact that your guy, your undisputed champion, had to call on other people, including yourself, to help him forge the path that he couldn't forge himself, shows what kind of man he is. Me, when it comes to the influence, I led the influence. You see, I didn't need the influence needed me. When I was RUW World Champion, I didn't need the other people in my company. The people needed me. The fans needed me to give them content. But Ledger, an undisputed champion who has been in TBW for quite a while, needs someone like you, needs the Spade of Club faction. He can't do anything on his own now, can he?
Uh-oh.
Have you been watching the same program that you've been seeing? He doesn't need my help. Commissioner Hamchops, that slob, wrote it out that I couldn't get involved. Because if I did, he would have been stripped. You see, it's jealousy. That's what it is, Kelly. And old Fart McGee over here. It's jealousy. Everyone wants a piece of the action. They want to rub off of greatness. And the only way to do that is by doing it with the shade. Everyone has tried. Many people have been stepped down. The list is going, and it will continue until somebody can take it all of us. And I don't think anybody, whether in TBW or outside of TBW, can even do it. You said that but look, there's always strength in numbers. Hamchops wrote up that I couldn't get involved, but did he say anything about Spade and Club? No, he didn't. It's all being ahead of the game, one step ahead of the opposition, and that's why.
Is that what the future holds for TBW? Is now it's going to be Spade and Club doing the dirty work for the shade along with you?
Is it what the future holds? We will keep the gold and silver by any business, and I don't care.
Well, sounds like
I don't care if Commissioner Hamchop doesn't like it or not. I don't care if King Kong Juggernaut, that no show, he likes it or not. I don't care if any of the boys in the back like it or not, the production people, the creative, the board of directors, because they fail to realize that me and Mr. Ledger are a top marquee. We are a draw in this promotion. Whether anybody likes it or not, whether you do or you don't, you can honor your Anarchy King, the only Anarchy King, the only king in backyard wrestling, not Rage Resurrection Wrestling, not anybody else, not even you, Tyrant King, video game expert. Yeah, not you either. King my ass.
If you ask me, I think I'm the one that stole the show at Anniversary, not Mr. Ledger.
Oh, yeah, Bleeding Buckets. That stole the show. Yeah, sure. Really did. Really. I tell you what stole the show. The audience, they all thought that Daniel Cole was going to be it. They all thought Cole was going to be the knight in shining armor, but no, they failed to realize that there's always another plan in the back pocket. You see?
So then I got a question for you, Painmaker.
Oh, God. What?
What's next for the Shade after Anniversary? What's going to happen on the next episode? Because you see, obviously I'm injured right now, so I don't know if I'm put on the shelf really, but I mean, here I am sitting at home, like you said, doing podcasts, and y'all going to carry y'all's sorry selves to TBW. I'm probably going to sit and watch it on the big screen and listen to all the crap that comes out of y'all's mouths. I mean, what's next?
What's next? the Anarchy King of the Anarchy era? Well, I can't really say, Taylor, but we will have a statement regarding the actions of Esau and our six-man event with the retaining of the undisputed title. There will be a say, and I will speak my behalf and speak what I will say on the matter. And all of you marks can sit at home and watch as you watch greatness, like myself, like Mr. Ledger, like Spade and Club. Whether you like us or not, you can honor your Anarchy King and all of us in general, if you will.
So one last question then before you go, because you sound like you're in a hurry, Penguin. I got a question, and it's for Mr. Kelly here. What are you going to do? What would Ledger do if Mr. Alexander Kelly, within the next year or so, decides to step foot in TBW? I mean, he's ready to do the business. He's ready to get in there and kick some ass. What do you think about him coming down there to get in the ring and show who he is?
Well, I've seen
Ledger.
what he was, what he used to be, but this dark Messiah, whatever he wants to call himself. Like I said earlier, he's got a new name, a new attitude, maybe. If he feels lucky, if he's a gambling man, if the talk is right, who knows? But until then, Kelly and you, this old far left here, can do what y'all do best. Keep tuning in to the greatest manager, the special confidant of the Anarchy King and the Anarchy King himself. Because when you see us on that screen or whatever screen you may be, you're looking at greatness. You're looking at talent. The greatest two masterminds that have ever stepped foot in a backyard wrestling ring, let alone TBW or anyone for that matter. So, are you finished with me now, old man?
I'm as finished. Do you have any last words for Mr. Kelly before you leave? Kelly, do you got any questions for Mr. Painmaker before he leaves? Anything you like?
I don't have a question. I have more of a response.
Okay. Well,
Ledger can call himself the king, the Anarchy King. But he has not yet met the Dark Messiah. One quick sacrifice is enough to end his reign as undisputed Painmaker.
Oh. What do you think of that, Painmaker?
Confident words. Confident words from a toothpick. But nonetheless, confidence, you show no fear. I like that. No fear. A little bit of confidence. Maybe you've grown a set over a year or two, Kelly. But other than that, I want to get off this program because I'm getting sick of looking at this old far to the left. Just for the record, James, this isn't 1999 anymore, pal. This is a new breed of backyard wrestling. You're living in your glory days, and you're nothing but an old fart. And if you ever think about getting an itch at going after my undisputed champion, we're going to treat your ass a lot worse than Jay Wild did. Ta-ta for now.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Painmaker. Mr. Kelly, you saw or finally met Mr. Painmaker, and what do you think about that? I mean, that's got to motivate you a little bit more now, kid. That's got to motivate you more to want to get in there and get that itch. Just get in there and start training and get ready, don't you?
Yeah, it seems like Painmaker has sent a message. He thinks Ledger is all this and that, but Ledger, to me, he may be undisputed champion on TV. He may be undisputed champion in your hearts, but to me, he's nothing short of a man who has to resort to other people to get the job done.
Right. Mr. Leach said, "Okay, here we
That's my
go.
message.
Nemesis is like 8-1. How many defenses does Ledger have? I'm actually 9-1. Thank you, though. And that is a good question. How many title defenses does Ledger have? Yeah, exactly. I'm like 9-1. Just because I lost don't mean that it's ruined my momentum at all. So, but anyways,
Exactly, bro.
I'm not, if I was to throw it out there, I was going to wait in case I ever went back to a rampage. But I mean, I'm not done with the Prophet, not by a long shot, not at all, and never say never in this business. So, I mean, we got it. We've had two. Well, we have had three matches. One was a no contest. The other one was me, and then the other one was him. So we've had a trilogy technically, but we need to really finish that tiebreaker, 1-1. You know what I mean? But anyways, Mr. Kelly, so I want to let you, since we're basically near the end of this right now, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I want you to, the floor is going to be yours. You talk about anything you want to talk about. You want to throw any plugins. You want to talk about your future as far as a backyard wrestler. What just occurred right now has got to be highly motivated for you. Has got to probably make you want to do something and act on it quick. The floor is yours, and you can ask me any questions you want. You can throw out anything you need to, but I'm going to let you some final thoughts go towards you.
All right. Well, it's a damn shame WEF had to end that the way it did. And if it ever comes back, well, that'll be good. But I do have that passion and that drive that backyard wrestling companies are looking for. So someone, please, for the love of God, I don't want to be a free agent anymore. I want to be signed. And maybe I could teach the Anarchy King a lesson, because that is my goal. Imagine me, the Dark Messiah, Alexander Kelly, which, by the way, the world has not seen the Dark Messiah step foot into a backyard wrestling ring or a ring of any kind yet. But just imagine the Dark Messiah stepping foot into TBW for the first time in nearly 2 years, and he faces and defeats Ledger. I'm not saying it's going to be a championship match right then and there. I'm just saying, imagine me versus Ledger one-on-one, and just like that, the Dark Messiah has defeated Ledger. And has proven that he's nothing more than a little bitch.
It would be interesting, but you can't underestimate Ledger. He's a quick wit. I mean,
yeah, he is one tough son of a bitch. He can get the job done for sure.
But I mean, hell,
if he has defeated Daniel Cole, with a little help, of course, then he can beat just about anybody. But I was saying, someone, please, for the love of God, hire me. I don't want to be a free agent anymore. I want to get hired. And I know transportation is an issue for me to get to TBW, but I don't want it to be an issue anymore. I want me to step foot in TBW, get the job done, and show up regularly if I can.
So you got a question here from Mr. Leach. He said, okay, but if Ledger beats you, then where does that leave you?
The job isn't done. That's all I can say. Whether Ledger beats me, he will always be in my rearview mirror. Whether I want to focus on him again or move on to other people and say, okay, maybe I need a little more experience before facing Ledger again. He is the undisputed champion after all, and he has been for quite some time. But if Ledger beats me, the job is far.
What if you went in there with a more smart tactic and go in there and go after the lower to mid card guys and not practice, but have matches with them to see how you can hang, and then go up that ladder. So that way they know exactly who the Dark Messiah is, who Alexander Kelly is. And then it's going to be like, man, look at what this kid's done. And there's Ledger. Let's get them in the ring together, I mean, it's the same thing with me in a way. I've never faced the guy. It's just we haven't crossed paths because I've gone there for other business. I went there to face Anthony Steele, and then I went on to face a bunch of other guys, and then there it is. You know what I mean? And what do you think about that?
I mean, whatever I have to do to get the mess across, I'll do it. Whether it's facing guys like Atomic Titan, Gage Flair, whatever, whoever steps in front of me, just as long as I can send a message to the top guy, the top people in TVW, that is all I care about.
I got my buddy Leach. He has a really good, because you see, I don't know if are you aware of a company that I run? It's not backyard wrestling, it's promo wrestling. Have you heard of the promo wrestling world?
I have, and I've actually been intrigued to try it. I'm not even going to lie.
Well, then me and you need to stay in contact, because this is a rule of thumb. Mr. Leach says, and this one's a good one, rule number 1 in promos: never, ever, ever admit that someone else is better than you. Never. And that's absolute fact right there.
That is right, because no one is ever better than you.
Yeah. You have to go into that world believing, whether it's in the promo world, whether it's the backyard wrestling world, whether it's anything when it comes to a promo, you have to believe 100% that you are the absolute best. And if you don't, here's the number 1 thing, buddy, and this is from veteran to you, okay? Mm-hmm. The number 1 thing is, if you do not believe in yourself when you're telling a promo, when you're in a promo, your audience isn't going to believe you. If you don't believe every word you're saying is 100% facts, even though it doesn't have to be scripted, it's just how you feel in the heart, telling a promo and cutting it on somebody like Painmaker did you. If you don't believe in yourself when you're talking trash, nobody's going to believe you. But if you do, you're going to be golden.
Yep. Damn right. Damn right.
There is that for sure. So I think this is a good stepping stone for you. And this is the whole reason why I wanted to do this podcast, because I see the opportunity there. And I'm sorry. I'm a busy guy. I got a lot of things going on. Sorry. I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't sleep very much. So anyways, beside the point, I've seen where you're at. And I know it's like you're not begging for attention. You're begging for an opportunity. You're eager for that opportunity. And I've
exactly like
before.
Yeah, because like wrestling is something I've always wanted to do, and it's always something I've always had the drive to do. So whether it's TBW, WEF, RUW, or something new like PWF, I'll always have the passion to step into that ring and get the job done. Whether people at the end of the day like me or don't like me, at least I sent a message and made them think about me.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So if there's any little thing else that you'd like to say, you can. Dave C says Kelly needs to believe and live like number 1, like Randy Savage did. I'm sure you meant Randy Savage, not Randy Savage. So yeah, you need to believe in your heart that you're number 1, and that's true. So
I do, and my 2 RUW World Championship reigns prove that.
And you can bring that with you, and people might be like, "What is that?" And then you can tell the world what it is.
Make an impact. Make an
Yeah,
impact with that. With
you
me.
could probably even bring it to PWF, and somebody might want to challenge you for it. And there it is. You got it going. So you never know. Anything could happen. But yeah, any last words you'd like to say? Any last little thing? Any plug-ins you want to throw out? Any questions you got for me?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to say that I'm hoping it is only a matter of time before the Dark Messiah steps foot into a backyard wrestling ring. I hope eventually that I will have to end this nightmare that is me not being able to wrestle, because like I said, I do have the passion and drive. For me, it's not about entertainment. to me, it's about the feeling that I get when I step into that ring. And as much as I would love to entertain the fans, and that is my goal at the end of the day, it's the feeling I get when I step into that ring. That is what makes me continue to wrestle.
There it is. Well, there you go. And if you look at that ring at TBW or PWF, that's an 18 by 18 ring. It's legit. It's not WWE like 20 by 20, but it's just 2 feet shorter. It don't matter. It's still a ring, and the ropes are real, and the mat is real, and it's a great ring, especially for new guys to get in and train in. It's one of my favorite rings I've actually ever been in, believe it or not. So I highly recommend it, and maybe never say never. Maybe everybody out there in the world might see Mr. Alexander Kelly come to PWF or TBW or both and start having some matches. But we will keep you updated for sure on that. This has been the Nemesis Sessions. Mr. Kelly, I appreciate you coming on here. It was definitely fun and entertaining to talk
I
with you.
appreciate you for having me.
And like I said, ladies and germs, I will put down the link to his channel in the description below so you can contact him or stay in contact with him. And yeah, I just got a text message from somebody. So yeah, people already contacted me. And I will definitely see you in the next podcast. My name is the Nemesis James Taylor. This has been the Nemesis Sessions. This is Mr. Alexander Kelly, free agent in Backyard Wrestling. If anybody's interested in talking with him or working with him, there's the guy. Give him a contact. And we will catch your asses down the road. And we'll
One
see
more
you
thing before we end.
What you got?
One more thing before we end. To anyone who wants to contact me, my Instagram is official Alexander Kelly. No numbers, no periods, nothing, just official Alexander Kelly. So if you want to contact me, feel free to follow me, send me a message, leave a comment, do something, because I am looking for a Backyard Wrestling Federation that I am able to get to. So there's that.
And I will put that plug, I'll put it down in the description below to his Instagram so you can have a direct link to him and you can message him for sure. And I'll put mine down there as well if you need to get a hold of me for anything. And if you're interested in being on the next episode of the Nemesis Sessions, just let me know. Mr. Kelly, do you think we might be able to see you in any future podcasts on here? Would you be willing to come back?
Yeah, definitely. That's something I am interested in. If you want to keep having me, if you want me to appear in future podcast episodes, that's certainly something I'm interested in, and I'm definitely your guy to contact.
All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. Ladies and germs, I'm James Taylor. This is Alexander Kelly, and we will catch your asses down the road. We'll see you later. And then we are